going on, Jerome's? So it's a beautiful Friday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. Up at the top, of course, as the Kirko turns, predictions for where Kirk Cousins is going to end up. This is from Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic. Now, this would be less than ideal. So Caleb Williams, 1 to the Bears. Yeesh. Baker Mayfield to the Buccaneers. Kirko Cousins to the Falcons. Kind of over it at this point. Whatever. The Vikings, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, and no rookies. Because you notice, Drake May, Washington, Jaden Daniels, somehow to the Raiders, Jabroni Brisket and Bo Nix with the Patriots. Let's see here. Geno and Penix Jr., that's actually really good. All right, so they're probably taking Penix in the second round. Seattle is. J.J. McCarthy to the Giants, probably at 6. Jaden Daniels to the Raiders, probably trading up. Drake May at 2. Bo Nix, probably second round to the Patriots. So through all of that, Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic is saying, hey man, the Vikings are going to sign Sam Darnold, and they're going to trade probably a late day 3 pick for Zach Wilson, and that's it. That's it. The disrespect we get around this mother father is ridiculous. It's so stupid. That's honestly. So we said I'm really okay with any quarterback in the draft, including if they want to go all in on Bo Nix or Penix. But I mean, this is ground zero, just the worst, like the nut low of absolute worst case scenarios for the Vikings at quarterback. Because all right, so they're going to have a mid off. And also, if one of them works out, like, are you really really pumped? I don't know. Like, Sam Darnold is kind of young, but whatever. Speaking of Kirko, so just another layer and chapter of all the rumors and speculation. So the Purple Persuasion, according to Wes Dunham, the voice of the Atlanta Falcons, stated today on K-Fan, Vox versus Vox crime, that Kirk Cousins has a golf membership at a country club in Johns Creek, Georgia, a northeast suburb outside of Atlanta. More ties to Atlanta. Okay. Kirk just seems like a country club guy, doesn't he? I don't know. But obviously, the question is, how long has he had it? I mean, he spends summers, and his wife is from Georgia, blah, 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 blah. Kirko is a great golfer. But this would be great for during the season when he's the Falcons quarterback. He can get some holes in on Tuesdays. Yeah, well, whatever. So this is spicy. Vikings now did a great job here. So they had on Ben Leber, a former Vikings linebacker, as well as involved with the Vikings Entertainment Network. He's a game day sideline reporter for KFAM. All right, so this is what Leber said about Lewis Cine. Quote, "We keep hearing that Lewis Cine can't pick up the playbook." Well, I mean, iPads are pretty light. They ask these guys to do a lot. There's a lot of double calls in Florida's system, and if you can't process the double calls, then guess what? You're going to be in his doghouse. Now, double calls, a couple play calls, reading and reacting, and doing a lot of things on the fly. Now, Zimmer's defense was complicated. Florida's defense on the back end is complicated as well, and that could be a reason why some guys got the time of day in the secondary, and some guys thrived, and some guys didn't, and it could be a reason why some guys got benched. But it's not a good look for Lewis Cine. Now the Vikings had one of the deepest safety rooms in the league. Beasley and Metella stepped up, played at a Pro Bowl caliber level. Harrison Smith had a great renaissance year, and Theo Jackson and Carry On My Jayward Son played some great special teams, aside from a couple of boneheaded mistakes and penalties from Jay Ward. But this is not good. And also, I 100% believe this because Ben Leber, he doesn't have an axe to grind. He's not known as an insider. He's not known as a gossip. This is straight talk. And also, him being the sideline reporter. So in preseason next year, Leber's just going to be on the sidelines with Lewis Cine. Lewis Cine just had himself a great game in the preseason. Like, hey, Lewis, doing good on those double calls this year. Great. But it's okay. We'll just start off at, hey, did you know the Vikings going to have Kyle Hamilton, who's an already All-Pro? Weird, man. So some news on the guard market for agency coming up. Ari Mariov, the Rams and guard Kevin Dotson have reached an agreement on a 3-year, $48 million deal, keeping him in LA, blah, blah, blah. $32 million guaranteed per South. So that's $16 million per. And $32 million guaranteed for a guard. Now he's a fantastic guard. If he would have hit in the open market, the Vikings should have been all in. And the Steelers, I don't know what the Steelers are doing. So the Steelers have been looking for good offensive linemen for years, and then they traded him to the Rams, and now he's turned into one of the best guards in football. So I don't know. But it does, in a tangential way, affect what is going to happen with Dalton Risner. And I think some of these prime guard deals are flying out there. Now, Risner is probably not going to get $16 million per season, but could this raise him up from $8-9 million up to 10-11? Sure, certainly. Also, speaking of guards, Ezra Cleveland got himself paid with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Ezra, 2020 second-round pick, out of Boise State. Now, Ezra was drafted to be the future left tackle of the Vikings after Riley Reif, but then Darisaw came aboard in 2021, and it is what it is. Now, I still think he's playing out of position at guard. I think he's a much better tackle, but yeah, whatever. Rap sheet. The Jaguars and standout guard Ezra Cleveland. Every single player that signs a free agent deal is a standout. You notice that? Have agreed to terms on a 3-year deal worth $28.5 million, sources say, with $14.5 million guaranteed. Jacksonville traded for Cleveland last season and moved quickly to keep him off the market in a deal done by Ron Slavin, blah, 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 blah. So I think this is a pretty comparable deal for what Risner could get, just south of $10 million per, with just south of $15 million guaranteed. So that is something to watch in the market. Unfortunately, so Jaylon Johnson, who had been franchise tagged by the crooked Chicago Bears. They work out a long-term deal. Now, I was kind of hoping that would be a Josh Norman situation where they wouldn't get something done and then just yank the tag. But, Jaylon is one of the best shutdown corners in the league, and it's annoying as ass, even though, JJ tends to destroy 33. No big deal. But rap sheet, he got paid. Jaylon finalizing a 4-year, $76 million new contract, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure there's words on the guarantee. I think it's like 52 million guarantees somewhere there. So, big time contract, because you're seeing this now. You're seeing the Packers load up on DB. You're going to see the Lions spend up in free agency at corner as well as draft corners. It's all because of, hey, that purple team in the division? They have Justin Jefferson and they have Jordan Addison. Perhaps we need some DBs. Steel City. This is actually good news for the Vikings. So, Jerry Dulac, beat writer in Pittsburgh. Steelers are interested in signing Russell Wilson and are tentatively planning to meet with the former Broncos quarterback before start of free agency. Per sources, Wilson has interest in joining the Steelers. Story in PG Pittsburgh Gazette, I'm guessing, forthcoming. So, Russ, potentially going to Pittsburgh, where they're sort of out of striking range for a top quarterback because they picked number 20 overall. But they have Kenny Pickett, former first-round pick, who Jordan Addison made at Pitt, as well as Mason Rudolph, whatever. But I'm kind of out on Russ, mainly because the only reason you would sign him is because of his contract quirk, where he can be signed for the league minimum. But also, I feel like Russ divides the locker room, but not in the normal way, where the guy's just an a-hole. He just doesn't mesh. Like at the end with Seattle and 2 years with Denver, I don't think you want to upset the chemistry. And with Russ at his age, even though him and Kirk are the same age, Russ has fallen off a lot more than Kirk has. So I would I prefer to run it back with Josh Dobbs if everything was the same with Russell Wilson. I know it's weird, but it is what it is. Speaking of Sam Darnold, so I said at the top that, Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson would be the worst. Now, I don't want to come off as a hypocrite, but I do that a lot. But again, this is the worst because they get both of those guys who've been busts. Darnold, number 3 overall pick, bust. Zach Wilson, number 2 overall pick, bust. And they didn't add a rookie quarterback. Now, you can convince me Darnold, Zach Wilson, rookie, first or second round, and Mullins and Hall, and then, okay, you son of a bee, I'm in. But reportedly, the Vikings and Broncos are anticipated to express interest in free agent quarterback Sam Darnold. Now, that's not too big of an assumption, but now I just want to sign Sam Darnold just so stupid-ass Sean Payton can't have him. Douche. 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 And bringing it on home, Anthony Edwards. So we are watching Baby Jordan, not Harold Miner. No, we are watching a young Michael Jordan, who, remember, MJ didn't win his first title until year 7 with the Bulls, but the Timberwolves supporting cast is there, and Anthony Edwards just went nuclear at the end of the game against the Pacers. And I mean, who has a game-winning block? I mean, this block is going to be shown forever. He hit his head on the rim. It's just glorious, man. Like Anthony Edwards, that's right, 5 and staying alive. Anthony Edwards is a true blue superstar in the making. Now, if he could only get a superstar whistle like stupid SGA in OKC, but whatever. And we're sort of glossing over the news of Cat having that meniscus injury. Now, Shams initially reported it's like, oh, meniscus, he's done for the season. Full-on surgery. But Woj has been on top of this, where initially he reported how much time, if any, Cat would miss. So that perked me up a little bit. But Woj tweeted this out last night. ESPN sources, a Minnesota Timberwolves star, Karl Anthony Towns, will undergo surgery to repair a torn left meniscus and will be reevaluated in a month. It's expected Towns will return by early in the Western Conference Finals. Now, I think Naz Reid can step up. I think McDaniels can step up. I think they'll be fine. I think they can get through the first, probably second round without Cat. But having Cat back and good to go could be that boost that they need. But I think it is going to be the Anthony Edwards show. I think everything is set up now where Cat and Ant have worked together great. I think they're good teammates. I think they're fitting in nicely. There had been a lot of concern about that. But now, the rest of the month before the playoffs and the start of the playoffs, Anthony Edwards is just going to take over, and we're just gonna ride that thing out, man. So there you go. But that's it. That's again. I can't get over this. Happy Friday. You know what to do. Skull production value.